Well. Jesus MMA back with another YouTube video. And this one's going to be a bit different. It's not just a prediction or a reaction to a card or any fight news reaction. Today, I am going over the worst type of MMA fans 2025 version. So this is recent to what's currently happening in the sport. Listen, guys, if you don't like what I'm saying, I guess just click off the video. But if you're interested in hearing what I have to say, keep watching, man. Keep watching. Consider subscribing. Join la galera, fala galera. Join the channel. Leave a comment. I don't care if it's a hate comment. Like the video if you like it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get right into this video. The worst type of MMA fans currently in 2025. Let's get it right off with the most relevant to what's happening so far. And listen, I need to go into detail about what I mean with the quote-unquote hardcore fan. So this is the kind of fan where, listen, I'm just going to talk about Chimaev versus Duplessis again. Bro, this is the kind of fan where if you call a fight like that where there's a lot of grappling and there's no effective, significant damage being done on the ground or any real deep submission attempts or really many like scrambles or position changes or any of the stuff that makes ground game and wrestling and all the grappling entertaining, when all of that is taken away and we're replaced with getting into the crucifix 3 times and just using rabbit punches, apparently you're not allowed to call that boring. But these fans will be eager to call Strickland versus Costa, which was essentially looked like kind of a sparring match type of fight, boring. So if it's striking and it's boring, you're allowed to call it boring. But if it's grappling, you're a casual if you call it boring. This is the mindset of the hardcore fan. They just go against the grain to be different. What I mean by that is they'll pick Aaron Pico. I know Aaron Pico is the favorite against Lerone Murphy. I really still don't understand why. And I know I fell into the Patchy Mix hype train, but listen, hear me out. At least Patchy Mix was like a defending champion in Bellator. Pico wasn't even, and he was the favorite against Lerone Murphy. And the people who picked him, I ask you why. Really, why do you think he was going to win? Because we have learned time and time again that Bellator pressure and the level of competition isn't anywhere near the UFC, especially after seeing Patchy Mix get schooled by Mario Batista, who isn't really, I wouldn't even consider him on the same level in his career currently as Lerone Murphy is, and this is before the Lerone Murphy KO. So, yeah, man, I mean, these fans, these hardcore fans, they'll pick like the unknown fighter just so that they seem like they know more than they actually do. And yeah, a lot of the times they'll be proven wrong, like in the Aaron Pico case, gets smoked in the first round. Listen, no hate to Aaron Pico. He was doing well. He had me worried at the beginning of that fight. But yeah, this kind of hardcore fan, man, these are some of the most annoying fans to deal with. Because every time I see in Instagram comment sections when people are like,
people just don't understand what they're watching. The level of domination that was presented here is unparalleled. You don't see this often in the UFC.
Yeah, you don't see it often because people want to see entertaining fights in the UFC. I and many others who are calling the Chimaev fight that he just had, the Chimaev fight against Duplessis, boring, we are not saying that it wasn't dominant and that it wasn't impressive. It can be impressive and boring at the same time. That's it. That's what we're saying. And instead of acknowledging that, all the time these comments are just saying,
They don't understand what they're watching. Go watch boxing instead.
the most annoying responses. These hardcore fans, yeah, bro, they'll just suck off whatever opinion is like seen as not popular. They just go against the quote unquote casual opinion. When the majority of the time, the common and the most publicly common opinion and the most publicly popular opinion is just kind of the reality is that it was an impressive domination, very impressive that Chimaev was able to do this. I thought he would have gassed out after the first round, but then again, I thought he was going to start chasing submissions and actually gain some work done. But no, he was riding it out, smudge grappling, whatever, man. That's why he didn't gas out, and just these fans that are constantly always saying,
Oh, the casuals just don't understand what they're watching. Go watch Muay Thai or kickboxing if you're not gonna appreciate.
and these people also saying it's MMA, not boxing. Yeah, it's MMA, not wrestling. Let's get some ground strikes going in there. It's not even just like stand up strikes. Get some ground and pound going in there, not some rabbit punches, man. Fucking bullshit. Anyways, I'm still a bit heated about that fight, and yeah, man, I just don't understand it. I don't understand how you can lie to yourself and say that that was an entertaining fight. Listen, I picked Chimaev to win, bro. I'm not coping. I have no reason to cope. I should be celebrating. And I would be celebrating if he had a great entertaining performance. It was dominant, but it was not entertaining. And the hardcore fans, quote unquote hardcore fans, will never admit this because they just want to seem different. Like, let's go to examples of entertaining grappling here. I picked some pretty recent example in the Hernandez fight against Dolidze. That was a mauling, and he went for the submission at the end. But I want to more so talk about the Khabib fight against Michael Johnson because it is a really it's a good example of a fighter getting another fighter into the crucifix position and actually producing some damaging shots. If you go watch that fight, go watch that fight back. Now, it's a different level of competition. Michael Johnson is not Dricus du Plessis. He's probably easier to keep on the ground. But regardless, if you watch Khabib fights like that, where he is constantly switching positions, going half guard, crucifix, landing damaging shots, elbows, no rabbit punches, Khabib gets you down and he tries to hurt you. And that's what's entertaining about that style of grappling. That's why I like watching Khabib fights. The McGregor fight, okay. First round, a bit boring, but it picks up on the second round. He knocks him down and he starts smashing his face in. Khabib has an entertaining style of grappling, and it's the type of grappling that I like to see, and most people like to see. And when we're calling out the boring smudge grappling, Merab Dvalishvili is kind of guilty of this. He is coming off of a finish at least, and his fights have been better as of late. But he used to be a boring fence smudge grappler, and yeah, man, that's just not the shit that's entertaining to watch. And then you have fights like Armin Sarukian versus Matush Gamrot, where the scrambles in that fight were amazing. Great to watch. I highly recommend if you saw that Chimaev and Duplessis fight, if it's one of the first UFC fights you've seen, and you don't think you can watch any grappler fight in the UFC, I recommend watch that fight. It is beautiful displays of scrambles and grappling exchanges between the two of them. It is a treat to watch, to say the least. A great fight, entertaining fight. Yeah, just entertaining all around. Man, I don't really have much else to say about this, but I really recommend that people who aren't seeing my point of view, go watch Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Michael Johnson and watch Armin Sarukian versus Matush Gamrot. I'm telling you, these fights prove my point where we can have entertaining grappling where it's not just wet blanket and hold up against the fence and knee to the thigh, rabbit punches while you're in the crucifix, one of the most dominant positions. Go watch the Khabib fight, I swear. When Khabib gets the crucifix on Michael Johnson, it is like, oh my god, he is fucked in this position because he's landing these damaging elbows, big punches. Just, I won't talk about it anymore. Just go watch those fights. Trust me, it is effective and damaging grappling and ground strikes. That's the entertaining shit. Not what we saw last Saturday. And let me get this one thing straight. I am not trying to hate on Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat's entertaining most of the time. It's why I picked him to win first round submission. Khamzat is like was an all gas no brakes type of fighter. The Robert Whitaker fight, I'm sure many of you have already seen it, where he breaks his jaw, dislocates his jaw. Regardless of the front teeth being weak, I think he would have gotten that sub eventually, anyways, in the first round, seeing how that fight was going. And if you go watch the Kevin Holland fight, there's some great scrambles in there, and Chimaev's constant pressure, where he's like latched onto you, he has this vice grip on your entire body. Just watch that fight. It is impressive how Chimaev manhandles Holland and submits him in the first round. Chimaev is an entertaining fighter for the most part, for most of the time. Like, bar last Saturday's fight against Duplessis and the Usman fight, Chimaev is an entertaining fighter, and he does get the job done. Just why I'm a bit disappointed in how the fight went last Saturday. I'm just saying, I'm not hating on the guy. I actually like his style. Unless Saturday is his new style, in which case, count me out. I'm sorry. The next most annoying, worst fans of 2025 for MMA is the Unc fans. Now, this fan base is always there, has always been there ever since kind of the Mount Rushmore of MMA has been created. And listen, no hate to Anderson Silva, but this is kind of the best example I can give. Because fighters like Demetrius Johnson still have quite an impressive resume, and he's still solidified as the flyweight GOAT. Also because of kind of just the flyweight division not being as, I don't know how to say it, but like the flyweight division just isn't as televised. So Pantoja's wins aren't even really aging that well, anyways, as we saw with the Kaya Sakura win, the Steve Erceg win. The division is technical and good, and Demetrius Johnson's wins are kind of against, I don't want to say nobodies, but they're against a caliber of opponent that isn't to the level of today. But he has so many, and he was so dominant that it kind of doesn't matter. Anyways, let's get to the point that I'm trying to get. These Unc fans have view past MMA legends with rose-tinted glasses, and they are delusional as to how good the competition was back then. They don't give credit to the current champs. So, for example, I don't want to talk about middleweight because you could still kind of consider Silva the middleweight GOAT, just and only because Adesanya is on a bit of a losing streak right now, and Duplessis, in my opinion, if he beat Chimaev, he would have become the middleweight GOAT. And people will lose their shit at that. Or like, those discussions that he can be the middleweight GOAT. People will lose their shit at that. Anderson Silva, 16 or 17 fight or 16 title defenses or something like that. I forget if it was 16 or 17. But people will always harbor on the numbers that these previous and legends have had. The numbers is all that matters to them, it seems. They view it with rose-tinted glasses. They view it better than it actually was. The competition level back then is dog shit. It is okay. It's not that bad, but it is nowhere near the level of that it is today. Especially middleweight. Middleweight still today kind of doesn't have that good of a competition level or skill level I'm seeing. I don't know. It kind of seems that way. And back then it was even worse. If you go watch Anderson Silva's fights, like this fight against Chris Lieben, this is what won him the title. Chris Lieben, I'm sorry, man. Chris Lieben would lose to your unranked middleweight of today by KO. And I'm not even exaggerating. I'm sorry, it's just legit what it is. These Unc fans will always discredit the current champions or say it's impossible for them to live up to the legacy of people like Anderson Silva or Fedor Emelianenko. Like, really, bro? Are you serious? Heavyweight is still shit division, but what I'm just saying is these people view these older fighters' wins as a lot better than they probably are. And they don't really acknowledge that the sport has evolved. Like, let's quickly go to Anderson Silva's like his title defenses. We'll go to that real quick. Let's see the title defenses in his title reign. Because while it is impressive, you have to take into consideration all the losses. If we're taking into consideration Adesanya's losses right now, you got to take Silva's into consideration. And if you look at his fights, Chris Lieben to become the, or I guess it was a middleweight title eliminator, KO's Rich Franklin, who I'm sorry is like a notable name, but he's not that good compared to nowadays. Travis Luter, Nate Marquand, Rich Franklin again, Dan Henderson, James Irvin, Patrick Cote, Thales Leitchis, Forrest Griffin, which is the famous running forward KO that he had over him. Forrest looked like shit during that fight, and he tested positive for illegal substances as well. Damian Maia, this fight was a snooze fest. The Chael Sonnen one was interesting, but you saw how much he struggled in that fight. And he pulled it off with the Hail Mary at the end. And Chael Sonnen, I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect the undefeated, undisputed GOAT Chael Sonnen, never lost a round. But Chael Sonnen isn't all that. Vitor Belfort, I forget if this was during TRT Vitor time. I think it was. So, that's a pretty decent win. Chael Sonnen again, Yushin Okami, Stephan Bonner. I'm sorry, a lot of these wins just aren't, like, a lot of these wins would count, in my opinion, for, like, say, take 3 Anderson Silva title defenses. That's equal to Dricus du Plessis defending against Israel Adesanya once. You know what I mean? Like, it's quality over quantity, in my opinion. And it's still up for debate. Obviously, if Adesanya is the middleweight GOAT over Silva, but to the Unc fans that say that there's no debate and it's not even close, you need to give yourself a reality check. I'm sorry. Next is the casual fans, but not all of them. This is a specific group of casual fans, because for the sport to grow, you need casual fans, people who are willing to learn more about the sport or like just to watch the sport in general. But these are the casual fans who honestly don't even really watch the sport unless it's a McGregor or a John Jones card. And they'll usually glaze John Jones being like, John Jones doesn't even need to fight Tom Aspinall. He's proven himself. People who say stuff like that aren't even fans of the sport. Because if you are a fan of the sport, you want to see Tom Aspinall versus John Jones when John Jones was in the UFC. Now, who fucking cares? The guy's out of the UFC. My point is, though, people who say that aren't fans of MMA at all. They don't care about, they just want to back John Jones. They want to be on the winning side at the end of the day. They don't want John Jones to face any uppercut. Oh, he's proven throughout his career that he can do it all. He can pick and choose who he wants to fight. There fucking goes the legitimacy of the sport then. There goes the legitimacy of MMA. If we're allowing fighters to pick and choose just because of their status, when they have clear-cut contenders, fans like this, and these are actual casual fans who only watch the highlights of Jones and McGregor and will just glaze them to infinity. And they have these Joe Rogan MMA takes. They listen to Joe Rogan on podcasts and they'll listen to Joe Rogan say, man, Israel Adesanya, still one of the best strikers, if not the best striker in the UFC. when Adesanya's striking and his boxing defense hindrances have been exposed. Listen, man, they listen to Joe Rogan too much. They just parrot his takes, and they pretend to be hardcore. They'll pretend to be hardcore, especially the ones that are John Jones fans. They'll back him to infinity, regardless if it tarnishes the legitimacy of the sport or not. These kind of fans, you do not want these kind of casual fans where they just watch the TikTok highlights, the Instagram reel highlights of fighters, and back them based off of that. They don't actually even watch the fights. They just watch the highlights, and then they'll watch the McGregor and John Jones card, and that's it. Actual casual fans that like are getting into the sport, bro, we need more of them, man. We need more of them. We need more people to watch the sport. It's essential for it to grow. But these kinds of casual fans, please no more. All right, I'm gonna get hate for this. I can already sense it. I'm going to get hate for this, and don't worry. I've got like some honorable mentions of other fighters fan bases that are also annoying, but this one needs to be talked about especially because listen, I'll get into the other ones later that we've kind of all heard about, but Max Holloway Glazers. First off, Max Holloway, one of the best fighters to watch in the UFC, one of the most entertaining. You're always going to get an entertaining fight. Outstanding fighter, outstanding finishes, great style to watch. All the praise in the world to this guy. Former featherweight champion, current BMF champ. This guy is a badass in the octagon, and he is also exemplary on the mic. Usually always respectful, normally not delusional when it comes to most things, but like fighters have to be delusional in some aspects anyways, so it's not really a knock on him. Listen, this is not an attack on Max Holloway or the way he fights. It's on the annoying fans who will not give credit to Ilia Topuria for knocking him out. And it's always endless excuses for his losses to Topuria. And I still see people in Instagram comments say that he beat Volkanovski in the second fight and Volk should have lost the second fight. But in reality, this is rose-tinted glasses syndrome. Looking back at fights, and they just see what they want to see. Like, for the Topuria fight, I keep seeing these Holloway fans, and there's a lot of Holloway fans. And let me say this: for the fighters that have huge fan bases, those are the only ones that I'm gonna consider putting in here because, listen, like if you have like Ibo Aslan, his fans are just Turkish supporters. You know, it's not, he doesn't have the craziest, biggest fan base, and it's not really like that impactful. Anyways, it's not that annoying, is what I'm saying. But Holloway has a huge fan base, and a lot of his fans are delusional and insanely annoying when looking at his losses, especially to Topuria. Because honestly, going into the third round, I think most people should have either had it 1-1 or 2-0 Topuria. And listen, bro, Topuria just KO'd my favorite fighter, man. I have reason to not like him. But I'm telling you, I'm just seeing what I'm seeing. When damage in scoring criteria is the main factor, these Holloway fans will say that a Holloway jab is equal to an Ilia Topuria right hand or an Ilia Topuria cross or an Ilia Topuria step-in jab. They always consider volume over damage. It always seems to be the case, and I don't understand why. When all these fans are saying, Holloway was schooling him and then he got caught. Please stop with the delusional bullshit. It was a competitive fight until Ilia Topuria KO'd him. And I don't know why it's so hard for Holloway fans to just accept that Holloway... It's because they want him to be the best boxer in the UFC, baby! But come on, he's not. I'm sorry, he got outboxed by Holloway. And he got chinned, bro. He got outboxed by Topuria, and he got chinned, bro. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. It's what happened. I didn't want to see that happen either, but it still happened, and it just really because I really do like Holloway. I think he's a great fighter, and I love watching him fight. And it's annoying because I want to consider myself a Holloway fan. I think I'm a Holloway fan, but it's hard to associate with the fan base when there's so many delusional fans who will not give credit to Volkanovski, and they're kind of forced to give him credit now ever since the third fight where you would have to rip out your eyes, bury them in the sand, pee on it, and then screw them back in your head to even see that fight, the third fight in Holloway's way, because Volkanovski schooled the fuck out of him. But like, how can you be so delusional when Topuria KOs your guy and it's a competitive fight on the feet, and Holloway's not schooling him at all? He's landing more volume, but Topuria's landing the more damaging shots, the cleaner, more concise blows that are kind of stumbling Holloway. Like, it's just really annoying just seeing the comments saying that Holloway was schooling Topuria until he got caught. And then they're also saying the weight cut is what ruined Holloway's chin and is why Topuria KO'd him. I mean, after seeing the way he KO'd Oliveira, I think he KOs him at lightweight as well. I'm sorry, Holloway fans. It's just a reality. Holloway has almost been exclusively a lifetime featherweight. So this reasoning that the weight cut back down from lightweight to featherweight is what made his chin weak, it's completely ridiculous, and it's just a bad faith argument, man. It's just not true. It's disingenuous, and man, they're just delusional, and it's really annoying. It's just really annoying, man. Other annoying fan bases. I'm not gonna put all like the annoying fighter fan bases, but these are kind of like the main ones currently in 2025. And these are all fighters, like maybe besides Shevchenko, that have pretty big fan bases. Shevchenko's got a big fan base, but not really compared to these other three fighters: Pereira, Khabib, and Adesanya. Listen, the Pereira, the Poetards, as some people call them. Listen, I'm a Pereira fan, okay? But the Pereira fans, listen, I know the Magomed Ankalaev loss was boring. It was a boring fight. But can we not be delusional here? Pereira threw maybe 11 strikes to the head in that fight. That fight was boring. That fight was boring because of Pereira as well. If not, maybe a tiny bit more because of Pereira. He was timid on the feet during that fight. And then you see all the Instagram comments trashing Magomed Ankalaev because he did the fence smudging in the fourth round, which, yes, fucking boring, and it was bullshit. But are we not acting like Pereira was losing on the feet for a majority of that fight because he was so tentative and only landing leg kicks, and Ankalaev's speed is what was helping him win that fight? It's just really hard to support the fan base when they're being delusional like that. And these are the people that the quote-unquote hardcore fans should go after for being like, fuck this grappling bullshit, whatever. And yes, the grappling in that fight was horrendous, boring, but Pereira wasn't really doing anything anyways. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's just, listen, I like Alex Pereira. I love watching him fight. One of my favorite fighters. I hope he wins the rematch, but the fan base has got to stop being delusional. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. It's not as bad as the Khabib fans, in my opinion. Listen, I really like Khabib. I like watching his fights, the mauling style that I mentioned earlier, the damaging ground and pound. Yes, his stand-up was a bit shit, but it's like, no, it doesn't really matter because once he takes you down, he fucking destroys you. But what I really don't like about the Khabib fans is how they put down Islam Makhachev. Anytime Islam Makhachev looks human in a fight, you always hear these Khabib fans come out, crawl out of the woodwork being like, this why Khabib always best. Khabib never lose against this guy, brother. Habib would not look this bad against this guy. Listen, in my opinion, Makhachev is a better overall fighter than Habib. He's a better striker. Maybe not as good as a wrestler. He can't keep his opponents down as dominantly as Khabib does, but his submissions are just as good. But yeah, I don't like the way that the Khabib fans are putting down Makhachev's wins just because the fights look competitive. Like, I'm sorry, man. Makhachev has a better resume than Khabib as of late. Oh, listen, the Volk wins are really, really good for Makhachev, is what I'm saying. And people were crucifying him because the fight was competitive and he could have gone to Volk, the first one. The first one. Obviously not the second one. And it's always the Khabib fans. They'll always put down Islam Makhachev and they'll say Khabib would have never struggled this much. Khabib would have done so much better. Like, bro, if you need to make your fighter look good by putting down another fighter, especially another fighter that's kind of in the same training gym, in the same area, and the same kind of brotherhood as Khabib, that's just not a good look. I'm sorry, that's cringe. Israel Adesanya fans, I mean, I think like everybody knows how cringe Adesanya's fans are. I don't really feel like I need to get into it too much. The delusion after the DDP fight where they're saying Izzy was schooling him. Oh, and then he got caught and got submitted. Just not true. It was a competitive fight. The striking numbers were made to look way more in favor of Adesanya. We've seen that happen before in the Strickland fight. Adesanya was given way more strikes than he was actually landing. If you actually look down at a breakdown of the fight of what actually landed, most of what Adesanya's strikes that landed in that fight were checked leg kicks. And they won't even give Strickland credit for that when Israel seemed off. Strickland made him seem off. And then anytime he loses, it's always about how well he takes a loss. I never see any of his fans give any credit to the opponent, and it's always annoying seeing that. Yeah, man. And they're also just fucking cringe and annoying, the Adesanya fans. Listen, Adesanya, he's gotten more chill as of late, so I kind of fuck with him, and I wanted him to beat Imavov, and he was beating Imavov, man. He got clipped, and it is what it is. You know, it's just how the sport is. Yeah, and then last but not least, Valentina Shevchenko fans. Honestly, these fans could go into the quote-unquote hardcore fans where they pretend that the fights were entertaining. That fight against Manon Fior, fucking boring. Just boring fucking fight. The fight against what's her name? Alexa Grasso, dull, boring as hell as well. Shevchenko hasn't had like an entertaining finish since the Jessica I head kick. I know she ground and pound TKO'd Andrade and Lauren Murphy, but those were not really that entertaining. Like in the first however many rounds, they were, and it's just like at some points it just kind of seems like some of the fans are just simps. But honestly, like her fan base isn't that bad. Like a lot of them just enjoy that she's a dominant champion, and you know you can enjoy that if you want, but don't come at others for saying that it's not entertaining. Say, no, you're just a casual. Fuck off, man. And last but not least, the Apex Defenders. Now these fans, oh my god, man. These fans are the ones that decide that if you shit talk any UFC Apex event, because the card on paper looks like shit, but because the matches that are booked are so lopsided that there ends up being like an entertaining KO, or just a KO, not even entertaining, just a KO, or a TKO, like ground and pound TKO, just because there's finishes, or a submission, or something, just because it exceeds expectations, or the expectation was that it was going to be dog shit, these people start defending the Apex, like saying, oh, that's why you gotta watch every single card, because these sleeper cards are usually the ones that are bangers. And yes, that does happen on occasion, but we gotta be real. Most of the time, it's because the fights that are booked are so lopsided. They have these random nobodies come in from the regional scene, and get fucking destroyed, or two randoms from the regional scene, and then it's a shit fight. And there will obviously be the entertaining Apex once in a while, but it's when we say the Apex events are shit, it's because nobody gets hyped for them, because the fights that are booked are garbage, or they're lopsided one-sided beatdowns with like not entertaining names. And these people will always gas it up after the fact when there's a bunch of finishes. It's always the hindsight is 2020 type of fans where they'll go,
See, this is why you can't shit talk these Apex fights.
and man, these people will just take anything for granted. I mean, how are you hating on the other fans who want better cards, who want more hyped fights, who want the UFC to care and put more effort into fights? Get rid of the Apex and put them in front of crowded fights. A crowd makes a fight more entertaining by default. Now, listen, I know there's some Apex Wars where it's amazing to hear the shots and the impacts of the blow land. I get it. But listen, man, we can't compromise the level of entertainment that we have to the extent that the UFC has, where a lot of these Apex events are just boring as hell. And there's no energy going into it, no energy going into fight week. It's just the UFC being lazy. And these fans accept it, and they'll eat shit. They'll eat shit for breakfast, man. They'll eat it for lunch, for dinner, for a bedtime snack. Yeah, man. Anyways, that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I kind of did try and put some effort into it. A little PowerPoint presentation going on. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of these kinds of videos if you want me to do more. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike if you didn't like it. Leave a hate comment if you think I'm out of pocket with some of these takes. But this is just how I feel, man. And I feel like I have reason. And I think I've given clear and concise arguments for why these kinds of fans are the worst types of MMA fans of 2025. Jesus MMA on the track, on the mic, tuning out. Subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, do whatever you will, watch the video, do whatever you will, man. And I'll see you guys in the next prediction video for UFC China. I think Johnny Walker versus Jean Mignon. It's looking like a pretty decent card. I'm kind of excited for the Sterling versus Ortega matchup, because guess what? That's an entertaining grappling matchup. I can see it being entertaining, the scrambles that are going to happen in there. Now, I hope I'm not jinxing it and it's going to be boring. In that case, you know what? I don't want to make the point. But, yeah, we'll see what happens, man. Ciao, ciao. Signing out. Jesus MMA.